Since I'm reasonably sure that Magic Mike's Last Dance will be coming to HBO Max here like any day now, um, I decided to try to watch the Magic Mike uh, 1 and 2. Unfortunately, Magic Mike 1 is on HBO, which has audio description. Magic Mike XXL, for whatever reason, is currently on Netflix without audio description. And this is a review of Magic Mike XXL. So I've already actually had seen Magic Mike once before. So that was actually one of my second looks. It was weird for me because I was revisiting a film I wasn't entirely sure I was ever going to see again, and then it actually made me realize the movie was better than I remembered it being. So that was good. I should have trusted more in the Steven Soderbergh factor of that film, and just assumed that it was better than I assumed it would be. This does not have Steven Soderbergh behind it, and it doesn't have audio description, and I'm a blind film critic, so we're going to have a completely different review here. Yeah. Basically, it's unwatchable. That's going to be where this is headed. In case you just want to cut to the chase, I see a lot of my videos don't actually make it the whole way, so I'm just going to tell you it's unwatchable. And the reason why is because, I mean, it's a stripping movie. This should be a no-brainer. This should be like the industry. I would love. My goal is to describe everything. Like I want to get to a point where audio description is as prevalent, so that way blind and visually impaired users do not have to play this weird game of, oh, which streaming service? Oh, does it have it on this service but not on this service? Magic Mike XXL is a perfect example of that because I'd seen it on HBO Max floating around a while ago, and it was listed in the audio description group. So it left HBO Max and now it's on Netflix, and Netflix obviously won't pursue audio description for whatever reason. I don't know, because it's crack. And it's the kind of conversation that I have about everything. And like, why don't you have audio description? There was a TV show that I was talking about with somebody else in the audio description community, and they reached out to Hulu about it. And the answer given was that Fox couldn't provide audio description for currently running titles only licensed. So the show has to end before they provide audio description for it, which is bizarre to me. It's bizarre, like conceptually bizarre. I love the couldn't provide, like they can't. Like there's some sort of, like demon or law that is preventing them. Like we would love to, but we can't. I can't provide audio description. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like it's ridiculous. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Maybe I can't pay you. What if I'm sorry, I can't pay you as long as that show's running. I can't pay you. Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's weird how that happens. You make no money while the show is, but when it's done, you can make money. But while it's running, you can't make any money from it. I'm sorry. I have to take all your money. No, it's fucking asinine. Anyway, so this film is a stripping movie, and there's like almost no plot to it. There's actually less plot to this film than there was the first one. So the first film actually has like a complicated plot about, it takes Channing Tatum on this journey where he thinks he's a badass. He's Magic Mike, right? And he's like a legend, and all these women love him, and he goes through this whole thing about being taken seriously, and Olivia Munn's character is looking for a good time guy, but she's kind of in a serious relationship with somebody who's like not a stripper, and he goes through the whole thing. He's got the kid, and the kid gets in deep, and he has to bail the kid out, and it's like this whole complex story, and his dynamic with Dallas. This film opens up immediately and just lets you know exactly what kind of film it's going to be. Mike is he's working at his job, and within a minute, van pulls up full full of the rest of the cast of the film, and or bus, I should say. Like I think it's like a minibus. I don't know. Some big ass vehicle holding a bunch of strippers pulls up, and they're like, "Get in, bro. Dallas is dead. We're going on the road." It's like, but basically that's what happens, and yeah, and there are long sequences in this film that are just music playing with like girls kind of like screaming in the background, and you know it's like a stripping sequence. So basically it's one of the most disjointed experiences that I've had to sit through, because like there are little scenes of dialogue between certain characters, like in between, or little moments where a character decides to open up about something. Like they gave Joe Manganiello lines in this one. Like he speaks, but his dialogue is all about how he's like, "My dick is so big that when women see it, they don't. And I haven't had sex in 5 months." And it's like, first of all, it's not even really. Anyway, yeah, he. So that's his turmoil. His sad lot in life is that his dick is too big. Then nobody wants to touch it. He's like, "Oh man, I'd give anything for a woman that would just, you know." And they're like, "Yeah, you know, there's somebody out there for everybody." So I guess that's the hint that Joe Manganiello's character will one day find the right hole for his giant dick. And that's the kind of stuff we deal with in this film. If you thought the first film was complex, the second film is like, I need to find a hole big enough for my penis. Is an actual plot point. Surprisingly, the film it lost Matthew McConaughey, but it gained like a ton of cameos. Like a ton of, not really cameos, but a ton of new fresh-faced supporting performers. A lot of recognizable names. One of the reasons I really wanted audio description was because I really wanted to try to figure out where Twitch was in the film, because he's in this. Rest in peace. And one of his few film roles. But also like Michael Strahan, Donald Glover, Andy McDowell, Elizabeth Banks, Jada Pinkett Smith, Amber Heard. Like the amount of people they picked up who were like, "Yeah, we want to be the Magic Mike sequel," is just kind of funny. It's amusing. So they did lose also. Our original brother-sister duo did not come back. That Channing Tatum was like kind of dating at the end of the film, and Alexander Ludwig's character is not back for this film. But we got Matt Bomer, and we got Gabriel Iglesias for some reason. I don't know. As I said, Joe Manganiello's in here. So yeah, they tried to bring everybody else back. It's the crew, and that's basically it. I mean, I don't really have much else to say because I did sit through the whole thing. It kind of ends in a weird way because like it kind of ends for the most part with music, and then eventually. So I think there's like a lot of stripping like right at the end of the film, and then Netflix tried to push me into something else, and I was like, cool. So there wasn't like really any like major revelation. Channing Tatum doesn't have any like, I really need to get out of stripping. I need to get back to my woodworking. There's nothing like that. I really don't understand the plot of the movie or anything like that without the audio description. It just seems like Channing Tatum just is like, fuck the first movie. I'm going back to stripping. and he just goes on the road. At some point he meets like Amber Heard's character and they kind of flirt, and Joe Manganiello's character needs someplace to put his dick, and Andy McDowell's character comes along later, and there's a sustained sequence with her, and they're trying not to say that they're strippers with her, and then finally they find out, and she does not give a shit. She just does not. She just cannot. Like, I'm like, did you think that this woman was gonna care? No, she doesn't. She doesn't care. I have a feeling this would not rank very high anyway, because I think the fact this feels like a sequel where it's a cash grab. Like, this is a definition of a cash grab sequel because it has absolutely no correlation to the first film. None of the themes, none of the ideas, none of the plot points in the first film seem to carry over to the second film. So everybody's just making completely different character decisions in the second film. Things that are completely contradictory to everything that those characters learned in the first film, which is problematic, I think, for a film if you're going to go that way. I'm going unwatchable as my official grade on this, because again, there's too much of this film where I didn't understand or can't understand, or I have no idea what's going on for me to feel comfortable grading the film. And I would recommend that any blind or visually impaired user looking to watch Magic Mike XXL would do so if you really want to try to find it somewhere with audio description. I just found it because I pay for every fucking streaming service, so I'm not going to go continuously pay for shit that I already have the rights to because it's floating on a streaming service that I have subscriptions to. So it gives me a good chance to call out Netflix for failure to provide audio description on a title where somebody along the way should have been like, hey, we just got the rights to Magic Mike XXL, and I see here it says we didn't bring the audio description track with that. We probably should. I don't think that movie has much of a purpose. If it's not audio described, there's very little dialogue in that film. It's pretty much just dancing. It's like 75% of the movie. So get on that. So I'm going to give Magic Mike XXL the grade of unwatchable. However, it does answer my question of what happens between 1 and 3, so that way when Last Dance comes out on HBO Max, likely with audio description, I will at least know where they went into. I'll have some sort of conceptual idea of what happened into. But I don't know that it matters. This is not a thinking man's movie. I would not be proud to tell people I wrote the script to Magic Mike XXL if I was trying to be taken seriously as a screenwriter. If I'm just trying to make money, sure, yeah, I'll be like, dude, give me money, I'll write you sequels. I write sequels, man. It doesn't even matter. I'll write it to anything. Just give me the money. I will write a sequel to any movie you want. You want a sequel to Inception? Got it, done. I'll do it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe so I can keep calling out films with audio description. And eventually, if I have enough people, the streaming services might notice. But that's my goal, is to get audio description on more films. And I realize this film has an audio description track. It exists. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not trying to shame the audio description community. But there is this thing where, we don't transfer audio description from service to service, and it's ridiculous, and it needs to stop. It needs to be illegal, actually. We have to start actually passing laws that audio description follows a movie, attach it to the film, so that it travels or requires services to make their own audio description tracks if they're going to reject an existing audio description track. Anyway, I also have a website, macmovieguy.com, the audio description project, adp.acb.org, the ADNA is the ADNA.org, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, MacTheMovieGuy. Anyway, I will review something else for you guys. Like I said, I've already reviewed the first one, but I'd already seen it before. This is my first time seeing Magic Mike XXL. And I'm waiting for Last Dance, which I don't understand why it's not on HBO Max. Has it not been 45 days? Has it really not been 45 days? Is that a thing? I know this film has a 45-day window. I know it can't have anything more than that. It was supposed to be an HBO Max release to begin with. Like, that's one of the things. I know it can't possibly have a longer than 45-day window, because it was supposed to be an HBO Max debut, and they were like, no, let's go theatrical. Sort of like Paramount Plus did with Smile. Anyway. See you on the other side.